Oh, we're on. We're on.
Oh.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hey guys, it's Friday, April 5th. Good morning.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Thank you for joining us. We've got a really wonderful show for you today. Harry, tell everybody who's on the show.
We really do. We have Aden and Olivia coming in from the Provincetown Independent to chat with us. We also have Mark Adams and also Annie Lewandowski to talk about Mark's big project.
I got to hang out with Garrett Kotecki at his brand new gallery at 368 Commercial Street, one-man gallery. It's his first summer. There's a few new galleries this year.
All right. I'm sorry. The phone is-
Take it off.
We also have a new tech person today.
Yeah.
So things might look different to you.
Mark, you got it? Go to overlays and click hide on the one that's on.
Should we still be talking to people?
Yeah, let's talk to people.
That sounds great. I like talking.
All of our
people.
tech people are out of town. So me and Mark learned how to do this over the week and it's going really well. Okay, it's just us. You can hear us.
Do we look? You can see-
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was just saying there's a couple of new galleries in town, and we got to spend a few minutes with a few gallerists last week.
Mm,
And we will be premiering them over the next couple of weeks.
that's really exciting.
It is really
Yeah.
exciting.
We missed you last week, Bob. How was your vacation?
I had the best time. Miami was beautiful. New Orleans was a good time. It's a great place to be for a bachelorette party. We had some amazing food.
Ooh.
Such a good food city, New Orleans. Have you been?
I went for the Chris's wedding
right,
last
of
year.
course.
Yeah.
Good time.
2 years ago?
Yeah, that was November of 22.
Damn.
I know.
But good times all around. How was Paula?
She's delighted and delightful, and the cutest moment of the whole bachelorette party. So her aunt and her mom were there,
Mhm.
her two sisters and her two nieces. So there were 3 generations of sisters, and on the last night, the 2 nieces, they didn't plan this or anything, but they started singing this song together. They did this duet for Paula, and then her mom and her aunt were like, "Well, then we're gonna do a number 2." Play such and such, and then they did this jitterbug dance.
Work.
And then the 2 sisters were like, I guess we have to do a number 2. Play Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. And then they
Okay, okay.
lip-synced to Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Work.
And it was just the cutest, not like Paula was crying.
Aw, that's what bachelorette parties are for.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody was wasted.
Work.
Super fun time.
That's awesome.
And, you know that I hung out with Morphine in Miami.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
I know.
Was she sweet though?
She's the sweetest.
Yeah.
That drag brunch at our house, if you haven't been to drag brunch at our house in Wynwood, it's mind-blowing.
Mm.
Like every performer is they're like dropping out of the sky, landing in a split. Every time somebody jumps in the air and lands in a split, I like call my orthopedic surgeon.
Literally.
I'm like, ow, my knee hurts just watching these people do this. It was incredible athleticism.
Yeah.
The beauty. Such beautiful women.
Last week on Drag Race, they were talking about how they tuck, and Morphine was like, "Oh, this is what I do," and I was horrified.
What does she do?
She wraps the whole thing in tape, like all of it in tape, and then pulls that tape back, but like wraps it in tape.
I don't like this.
Yeah, me either.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tuck when I do drag, but that's
You don't?
no, I don't.
You're new.
I'm wearing layers of padding and all this stuff. You wouldn't be able to see it if you tried.
But every time that like something really amazing and drag inspired was happening, Rocco was like, Harrison should be the one here enjoying this.
Exactly.
You don't even know anything about this. Harrison's the one that knows about all this stuff.
It's like if I was at the U.S. Open,
that would
I'd be
make
like,
me-
yeah, it's fun. I'm loving this like giant beer that I can drink. I'm like, yeah, tennis.
I'm
Woo!
pretty sure I enjoy drag more than you enjoy tennis.
I love tennis.
You do?
Yeah.
No, you
I mean,
don't.
not as much as you. I would say I love tennis as much as you like drag comparatively to each other.
I don't know. Anyway, you were missed. You were mentioned. You should have been
Mm.
there. You need to plan a trip down there so you can go visit
Yeah,
them.
no, definitely.
It's a really good time. I had a
Yeah.
good time. And it's just fun. Like, you forget how much you love somebody until you're in the same city with
yeah.
them for a couple of days. I love you, Rocco. And
Aw.
Owen. You guys, I had a great time. Thank you.
Drag Race is coming to an end soon. They've
What do
only
you
got
mean?
4 girls left.
Oh, I thought you meant the whole
No.
show.
Morphine, our favorite, unfortunately did go home last week, but really great showing. And a lot of people
Who's left? Saphira?
Q, Saphira, Nymphia, and Plain Jane. But some people overstay too long and the fandom turns on them. And sometimes people get sent home and like the fandom loves them because of it. Like they're like, oh, we wish it got more. And they like, I feel like Q is getting a bad edit. Like she's
Really?
overstaying her welcome, and people used to like her and are starting to not.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I liked her at the beginning.
Exactly.
You don't like her anymore.
No.
Ethan hates you. Q.
No. I don't hate her. I just I've seen enough. You know. Yeah.
You've seen it all. She has nothing more to
When
offer.
people are going home and people are saying there's people I want to see more of, people I don't want to see more of, and
You more hit
that's
space.
but she's my girlie. I love her.
Yeah.
Saturday night I came to the brewery to watch some basketball games. We were showing the NCAA tournament last week, and we're showing it all again this weekend. And tonight is gonna be awesome. And please come to the brewery. There's a game at 7 and a game at 9. The game at 9 I think is the hot ticket of the season. It's gonna be the best basketball game of the whole season.
You're not going to watch Drag Race?
No, that's how important it is to me.
Oh wow.
I'm going to talk a little more about basketball once I get through what I did my week. Sunday, I went for a walk around Claps Pond, and I didn't have any specific Easter plans. And what made it really sweet is walking around Claps Pond, someone had dyed a bunch of eggs and left them all around the whole trail at Claps Pond.
Actual eggs?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
It was really cute. If anyone knows who did that, I want to give them a couple wake up mugs. So if you know who planted the eggs all around Claps Pond, let me know, because it was really magical.
It was the Easter Bunny, obviously.
It felt like Easter for me, and I
Aw.
didn't think there was going to be anything that was Easter.
Did you get one?
No, they were real eggs left outside in the woods. Like, no, I'm going to leave them in the woods. Then I came here to watch another NCAA women's game, and then it turned into a little fun brewery Easter party.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had an Easter egg hunt all around the brewery, there was the one golden egg that had a gift card in it. It took us like a half hour to find.
How much gift card?
I think $25.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really
Oh,
cute.
in New Orleans, I was at a birthday party, a 40th birthday party, the Saturday of Easter weekend, and there were like disco ball Easter eggs hidden all over the property.
Oh, cool.
And it was like weed edibles and scratch tickets.
Damn.
Inside.
It was for adults, I'm guessing.
Yes. No, it was children only.
Children only for
Yeah.
weed and edibles. Smart,
Scratch
smart.
tickets.
Monday was tough. It was town meeting. And I love town meeting, and I did go and I stayed till the end, but I was very bummed because I know I said tonight is one of the games that's going to be the game of the season,
Mhm.
but I thought this past Monday was going to be the game of the season. It was LSU against Iowa, which is a rematch of the championship game last year, which caused a bunch of. It was really exciting for the game of women's basketball. It really made people tune in, but Angel Reese and LSU ended up winning, and she behaved in a way that men act every day when playing sports. But obviously, she got eaten alive for it because she's a woman.
What did she do?
As she was winning, Caitlin Clark is like everyone's like she's the greatest of all time. So obviously they're going up against her, and they beat her. And towards the end, she was like pointing at her ring, which is like I'm gonna win a ring and you're not. So
Well, who won this time?
Iowa did win, and it was smack dab in the middle. It started at 7:00 on Monday during town meeting. I was refreshing the score on my phone. I know someone else who was watching the actual game on their phone during town meeting.
Mhm.
And then I got out and watched the UConn game, and UConn, who's a 3 seed, beat their number 1 seed.
Oh,
Yeah. So UConn's
congratulations,
still in it.
UConn. That's
Um,
your girls, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna move on from that, but talk about NCAA basketball more later. But town meeting was fun. You missed it.
I know.
Yeah. It was less contentious than I had expected it to be. I thought the one that was going to be really contentious was the Mata Field article, which we had Alex and the superintendent on a couple weeks ago to chat about. And there was some talk about it, and I just find it's weird. I would never get up in front of everyone in my town and be like, do kids need this?
Somebody got
Do
up and said
kids
that.
need a playground? Do they actually need that? I was like, oof.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, no.
He does. Mark knows who it was.
It was weird though, right? I was like, oof, in front of everyone. Okay.
I know.
But in general, people really supported it. It passed by a lot. I hope that it passes on the actual ballot this May.
Right.
It's May, right?
This
Yeah.
is it's just to put it on the ballot so people can vote on it
Mm-hmm.
later. And I mean, some people will sit there and say one thing and then do something completely contrary in the ballot box. That happens a lot.
It was Katie, Carol, Troy, and Tom who did the eggs.
I know.
I'm gonna get Jill wake up mugs if you don't already have them.
Aw, adorable.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, sorry, town meeting.
Yeah, keep
Mata
going.
Fields. I'm sorry.
So Mata passed. There was very little resistance
Yeah,
to it.
exactly. But the one that did kind of get people talking
Mhm.
was, and it was confusing. I was confused, and people were confused. People were confused. But it was basically an article that was saying they wanted to, basically, as of now, the fire chief and the police chief have to live within Provincetown or Truro, I think is the current law. And they just wanted to extend that to 45 miles of driving.
Right.
And I understand both sides of it. You want to broaden the pool. We understand we're having housing issues in town.
But
So
also, our friend Greg Hennick, the deputy chief of police, lives 45 miles away.
Mhm.
I think it's for him
oh,
that
right.
they want to do that. At least
Right.
that's what I think.
Yeah. And they were speaking a lot about like, oh, we want people to be able to build careers here. And if they have a family and they live in a 3-bedroom down in Sandwich or somewhere, they can't necessarily, relocating to Provincetown or Truro would be astronomical because of real estate differences. And yeah. And
Wait, how did it go? What did they say?
like I said, it was confusing. There was an amendment introduced, and it seemed like everyone was like, yeah, amendment. And then no one voted for the amendment. And I was like, oh, I thought everyone was on board with the amendment. I don't think people necessarily knew what they were voting for. They got a recall to do the vote again, and then it went the exact same way. It was confusing, but it did not pass.
It didn't.
No.
So the police chief has to live
No,
close.
the directions, the amount of driving thing,
Mhm.
that kind of got worked out. What
Okay.
didn't pass was the fact that the police chief isn't a direct hire by Alex Morse.
The fire chief.
The fire chief.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
fire chief will be, as it is now, they nominate him, the fire people nominate one of their own to become the fire chief.
Yeah.
The fire people.
The fire board.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
I'm not less confused by you guys describing what happened.
I see both sides. Basically, as of now, because it's a volunteer-based fire force, there is a board of 5 people that pick the fire chief. And basically, now that the fire chief oversees our EMT force as well, because of the ambulance company going out of business,
Uh-huh.
the town leadership is saying it's no longer appropriate for these 5 people to choose. It should be the select board and the town manager choosing this. And I see both sides of it. It's been done like this forever. People have come up through the fire department expecting it to continue this way. The people that are on the fire department want to continue this for another year or two. It seems like they want to pick one more and then have it change, which I
Right.
understand. And I was very much like, yeah, if all the people of the fire department are saying that this is true, I'm going to vote with them. And then Alex Morse made a really good point. He's like, we would never let 5 cops choose the police chief.
Mm,
And I understand.
that's different. though.
I do understand it's different, but is it different? You know?
Yeah.
Different just because they're volunteer force.
A volunteer fire
And-
department is
yeah.
not.
And
Yeah.
they-
So I understand both sides. I think it's going to be continued to be talked about, worked on. Yeah. But overall, the star of the meeting, Madam Moderator.
Oh, always.
Always.
Wait, did she read somebody?
She read Alex Morse just once, very nicely.
Why? What happened?
And then she read the select board a little.
Did she?
Because basically there was an article
Mary
that the
Jo.
select board had voted to not recommend, and then they reworked the bill, and then they were like, yeah, but they're like, and someone asked, well, do you recommend it now that it was reworked? And they're like, oh, we didn't officially vote on it. And then Mary Jo was like, well, when I was a select person, we would get together and vote on things specifically like this, and y'all didn't. It was fun. Yeah.
I love
But-
that. It's my favorite.
Overall, I mean, it's crazy that was considered uneventful when it comes to town meetings. Jen Cabral either wasn't there or was very quiet.
I don't think she was there.
I don't think she was there.
I don't think she was there.
Because she couldn't be quiet. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. And shouldn't be quiet. I always love when she speaks up, and she has such a unique perspective as someone who's lived in Provincetown, grown up in Provincetown, works in restaurants.
Mhm.
I think your voice is incredibly important.
Yes, you were
Yeah.
missed, Jennifer.
Yeah. Town meeting was overall very good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Then the only other thing I did this week, I got together with Eden. We celebrated our great episode last week with Peter Toto, and we chilled. That was really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Should we do the weather.
Yes.
Yes. So we're gonna riff for a little while Mark finds the weather video. We have a new weather person.
Yes, Sean Naughton is going to be our inclement weatherman. There was a wild storm yesterday, you guys, and Sean was right there capturing it all. And we also got a little input from some other friends around town. Check this out. It was wild.
Good morning, boys. Sean here in the west end of P-Town. Greetings from yesterday. That's today, Thursday. And we had a big nor'easter blow through this morning. Huge waves, 60+ mile-an-hour winds, lots of rain, and just total madness everywhere. Take a look at some of these shots we have from around town. It's pretty wild. Definitely one of our crazier days. Before I sign off, the town has a request. If you have any footage of flooding or crazy waves, crazy weather from either this storm or previous storms, send it over to this email address. You can scan the QR code to send it as well. The town needs your help in planning for future storm resiliency. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. Sean signing off from the West End. Back to you at the brewery.
We're back, and you can hear us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for bearing with us. Mark is doing an incredible job. Yes, thank you, Mark. Mark wears so many hats here at Wake Up. That was wild.
Fortunately, I don't think anybody got a terrible flooding incident. Like
Gaston just texted me and said tree fell on my house with the storm.
Oh my goodness.
So not everyone got out.
Not everybody is
sorry to hear that, Gaston.
So sorry for Carrie and Gaston. But that, I mean, speaking of coastal resiliency, there's a meeting this Wednesday at 5 p.m. in the Judge Welsh room at Town Hall to discuss the low-lying roads. Mark Adams's favorite band, the Low-Lying Roads.
It's like an informational kind of come together. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss next steps.
There's also a QR code where the town wants you to send pictures and videos from the storm last night if your part of town was particularly affected, so that they can, better know and understand where it's happening the worst lately. But it seems to be moving. This was the first storm where the West End was affected like that in a while.
I know.
It's been, for the last 2 years, it's been that same exact spot in the East End, going up Howland Street toward the East End Market. And now it's like we're surrounded.
Yeah. It's been a while since it's been a West End issue. Today it is sunny, which is so nice. It's been rainy and like that for the past week. So happy to see it sunny again in Provincetown.
Yeah, enjoy the weather, guys. It's at least sunny. It's like 32 degrees out.
Still winter, but sunny. So there's the close to flooding meeting on Wednesday. There's a few other things I wanted to plug really quickly. Again, I don't have my laptop. So the Provincetown Business Guild is doing this really cool program. It's called the Provincetown Summer One program. Basically, they're partnering with different guest houses in town, and basically they're offering $50 a night hotel rooms for this upcoming Pride.
Really?
It's only for ages 21 to 29. It's basically trying to this issue that we have of it being astronomically unaffordable to come here, and also because of that, young people not being able to come to town. Like basically everyone you talk to in town, like when did you come to Provincetown first?
I was 21.
Right. And like we're kind of losing that opportunity for people to come in their 20s, experience Provincetown. So Provincetown Business Guild has created this Provincetown Summer One program. So it's, like I said, ages 21 to 29. You have to apply. The deadline is April 12th. And basically what you get is a $50 a night hotel room, 2 round-trip ferry passes, and 2 tickets to the Queer Comedy Showcase. So it's basically kind of like, I don't want to say subsidizing, but it like basically gets you set up to have a really amazing Pride weekend.
Where do you get it?
ptown.org. You can, there's like an application, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a lottery or how they're going to pick, but yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. so often I feel like people sit around wringing their hands about the problems we have in town, and I think it's so incredible that the PBG is like, let's attack the problem and figure out how we can solve this.
And if you're a guest house owner that wants to be part of the program, please reach out to the PPG.
Yeah. If you're a guest house owner who wants to be part of the program, reach out to the PBG. There is another thing happening. It's called 100 Beds in 100 Days. So this is basically an informational meeting. It's happening at the brewery on April 12th from 5 to 6 p.m. And basically it's trying to bring together homeowners that have bedrooms available to offer to workers, and then people who need housing. So the reason it's called 100 Beds in 100 Days is because they're trying to find 100 beds in 100 days to house people that are living and working in Provincetown. Every day on my through my group chats and Facebook, I'm constantly hearing about people who live here, have jobs, have lived here for years, are running guest houses, nightclubs, restaurants, and they're like, I have nowhere to live in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
even people that thought they had housing, it's can be snatched right out from under you at the last minute.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Another really great example of here's the problem. Let's think of a simple, straightforward way about how we can do this. So I think what supply and demand, the demand is for more people offering housing. Yeah. Another thing that happened at town meeting that I want to talk about really quick was last week we had Brent and Elias on to talk about the corporate ownership and basically limiting the amount of guest license or not short-term. What's the word? Room licenses can be owned by a single entity. And I feel like a lot of times we talk about the housing crisis. And the thing is we don't have a housing crisis per se. It's what that housing crisis then causes, because there are plenty of houses in this town. If every bedroom in this town had a person who's living and working here, there'd be no issues except for unemployment, because there wouldn't be enough jobs. But the thing is, there are too many jobs and not enough people living here and working here. So it's not that we need more housing, it's that we need more people living and working here who have housing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a program that is directly going for that.
Yeah.
Trying to solve.
And so that's next Friday, April 12th.
Yes.
5 to 6. Yeah. I have a feeling that it's going to be more people looking for housing that come.
But I mean, even not that it'll solve the problem, but I think it'll be a show of the situation we're in if 200 people show up looking for rooms and no one shows up to offer rooms.
Even if only a couple of people find housing this way, then it'll be a success.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, I got some news stories.
Do it.
The Beyonce album came out.
Yes, it did.
It's cowboy season.
That happened since last Friday?
It happened on last Friday.
Oh, okay.
Last Friday morning. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
The Miley Beyonce duet, Two Most Wanted, is such a beautiful duet. That's my favorite, the standout, I think. For trivia last night, I did my visual round on Cowboys, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trivia was back with just me and Evan, our regular hosts at the brewery, and we had a really great turnout.
But I mean, you guys are there's gonna be riots in the street when Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department wins Album of the Year over Cowboy Carter.
There will be.
Ethan's gonna throw the camera at me.
Yeah. I honestly think we should just be like, let's ignore the Grammys forever. If that happens, ignore forever.
You haven't even heard the other album yet.
There's no chance that it would be anywhere near as this good. I mean, it's one of the 10 highest rated albums ever on Pitchfork. One of the rating. It like immediately became a top 10 album of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
I mean,
no idea.
Right.
Music professionals, people who are paid to critique music.
I've only listened to it once, so I need to give
I've listened. It's a hefty listen. There's like 26 tracks, so it's tough to. It's not a throw on and get into it. 72 minutes.
That's not that bad.
All that can fit on one CD.
72 minutes is really
It's maxed out onto one CD. 2 hours.
What's a CD?
Look at me knowing Beyonce.
Look at you knowing outdated technology.
Okay, the only other news story I have is the NCAA tournament, and I'm going to talk about it for a minute.
Okay, 1 minute.
You have to be excited. It's so exciting. Like I said, this past Monday was such an exciting one. I thought it was going to be the most exciting day of the entire tournament, but
He did something wrong.
oh no. Oh, he's just
Keep talking, he said.
okay, great. So this past Monday, I thought was going to be the biggest game, LSU against Iowa. LSU did lose, and shortly after, Angel Reese, who is one of the stars of the game, announced that she was going to go for the WNBA, and she did it in such style, literally style. She did it through an article in Vogue magazine.
Was she the one that did this?
Yes. Yeah.
And she played on Monday?
Yeah,
But
she
she
played on
lost.
Monday. They lost. It was a bummer because Haley Van Lith basically was tasked with guarding Caitlin Clark, who everyone is saying one of the best basketball players of all time. She's 6 inches shorter. She apparently was on an IV all day because she has a virus. And they were like, yeah, guard the best player of all time. And the best moment from the whole game is Caitlin Clark kind of loses Haley Van Lith. She takes this three-pointer from like 6 feet beyond the three-point line, and it goes straight in the basket. And Haley Van Lith literally turns towards her bench and goes, she's like, what am I supposed to do? She's like, she's not supposed to be able to make shots like that.
Mhm.
And there's this video of her, like Caitlin being like this, and then her turning and being like, it's so good.
Is she going to the WNBA as well?
She is not going to the WNBA. She announced that she's going to go into the transfer portal, so she's going to leave LSU for another team.
Wait, what do you mean?
You can transfer.
Isn't she graduating?
No, she has one more year.
Caitlin Clark has one more year?
Caitlin Clark is going to the WNBA. Haley Van Lith is transferring. But everyone's saying she should transfer to Iowa and fill that spot that Caitlin Clark had.
Oh.
Because they're both point guards. They're both really great. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about why this weekend is so exciting. We're down to the Final Four. The Final Four teams, the best 4 teams in the country.
Mhm.
There's 2 teams that were expected. They were both number 1 seeds. And then 2 kind of surprises, but not particularly. So the first team we have is NC State. NC State was a 3 seed. They weren't necessarily, I don't think a lot of people expected them to be in the Final Four, but they're really pulling through, playing some really amazing basketball, and they're here. What's especially exciting about NC State is their men's team is also in the Final Four. So there's a potential that NC State could win both men's and women's in the same year.
Mhm.
The next team is South Carolina. South Carolina has an undefeated season. So they have an undefeated season. The last time a team has gone undefeated was 2016. They're fully expected to coast right through to the final. They're really kicking ass. Then the third team is Iowa. What are you doing?
I'm listening.
The third team is Iowa, led by Caitlin Clark. She's talked about as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And people are just so excited. Basically, she's going to the WNBA. They just, Ice Cube has a 3-on-3 basketball league that's never had a woman play in it. He offered her $5 million to play in that league, which would be a lot more than she would make in the WNBA, but I still think she's going to go to the WNBA.
Mhm.
Then you have the fourth and final team. It's UConn. They're my girls. And basically, remember I said that NC State has both the men and women in the Final Four?
Mhm.
UConn also has both men's and women in the Final Four. The only team to ever win it in both men's and women's in the same year is UConn. They've done it twice already. They did it in 2004, 2014, and now
Ooh.
2024. Interesting,
Every
right?
10 years.
And remember I said South Carolina has an undefeated season, and the last team to do it was in 2016. Guess who it was?
UConn?
It was UConn. They've had about 10 undefeated seasons, more than any other team ever. And then remember we were talking about how Caitlin Clark considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time?
Mhm.
Well, she has no championships. And basically, when you talk about greatest players of all time, I feel like if you can't lead your team to the championship, you're not the greatest player of all time. And then you think about the other people included in the conversation around greatest players of all time. It's Diana Taurasi, 3 championships. It's Maya Moore, 3 championships. Breanna Stewart, 4 championships, all with UConn. So I think it is so serendipitous and poetic that Iowa has to go through UConn to get their championship if they can get it, and Caitlin can be the greatest player of all time. What do you think?
I'm saying save me with my eye in Morse code.
So tonight at the brewery, we're having both games on. It's South Carolina versus NC State at 7. And then at 9 o'clock, we have the big game. It's UConn versus Iowa. We're playing it here at the brewery. Come hang out. I will be here all night.
You're working all night?
I'm not working. I'm going to be watching the games all night. Joe will be on the bar. It's going to be fun. I think this season especially is so exciting around women's basketball. They are breaking 12.4 million people watch the LSU Iowa game, which is more than any of the World Series in baseball last year, any of the NBA finals, any college bowl football game in the last year.
Really?
Yeah. And also tickets for the women's Final Four are averaging $1,200. Tickets for the men's Final Four are $550.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't miss out. We're making history here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't be here
Why?
because I have to be somewhere else.
Sure. Okay, let's hang out with Garrett now.
Okay. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Everybody, I'm at 368 Commercial Street in the brand new one-man gallery with artist and gallerist Garrett Kotecki. Garrett, thank you so much for making some time to chat with me.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thanks. Here we are, aren't we?
So what's your personal relationship with Provincetown?
You got it.
I came here maybe 2 summers ago, and I did a guest spot at Eric Lesh Gallery, Whalers Wharf, for a week. That went well enough where I decided I wanted to come back. So last year during the carnival, I had a 6-week pop-up in the Provincetown bookstore, that building that they're turning into a big hotel, whatever. I was in there for 6 weeks, and that went well enough where I wanted to come back, have my own space that they weren't going to tear down, and go for a year.
And
So here we are.
This is also your working space. You're in here painting every day.
Yep. I paint here in the front window, walk past to see me painting, and downstairs, but it's depressing down there, so we're not going to go there.
But this is a nice, bright, colorful space that you've got going here. Like, what are some of your inspirations and favorite artists?
I don't really know a lot about art, actually. I never went to art school. I didn't want to study it or read about it or learn about it. I just wanted to do it. So if I had to pick, do you know who Francis Bacon is?
I've heard of Francis Bacon.
He does some real grotesque.
Oh, good. Yeah, we all
I
have.
don't know, butcher meat Pope portraits.
Austria.
I relate to that. Dali, of course, is fucking great. He's insane. He's an alien, but in the best way.
You're open softly right now.
Yeah, if somebody knocks on my door and I'm in here, then I let them in.
What are you working on right now?
Right now I'm working on one of my pollinator pieces. So these are, I did 2 of these already. This is the 3rd one in a series. It's from photos that my dad takes. He's back in Wisconsin, he's retired, and he is big into nature photography. I think the original photo, let me get to it. Here, so this is the photo that he took.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I blow it up into a bee and some, do you know what kind of flower that is? It starts with an A.
No, Mark.
Mark. Provincetown, what flower is this?
Oh my god, I don't know what that is. Oh, an allium.
Allium, yeah.
Allium.
See, that's what I said, allium. Yeah. And this is, so this is what I've been working on. This is the first painting that I've done here. It's almost done. We have to go in and do a little bit more massaging.
That's our new bit.
Yeah, it's getting there.
What are your hours going to be this summer?
I'm probably going to come in around 10-ish, and then take a little siesta in the afternoon, depending. And I usually stay open late, to 8 or 9, because that's when most of the traffic goes by.
Right.
Here, anyways. I might go to tea.
Yeah, don't
Maybe
forget to
I'll-
make time for fun.
Maybe I'll disappear for tea or
Yeah.
the beach or something.
All work and no play is not good for you.
Well, I'm not much of a beach guy. I burn.
That's okay.
I'm kind of a
There's
vampire.
plenty of fun to be had on Commercial Street.
Okay, if you say so.
Come and say hi to Garrett this summer, you guys. He's going to be here in 368 Commercial Street. Come buy some art, check it out, and say hi. Thank you for making some time to chat with us.
Well, thank you for coming, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
We'll see you soon.
You guys talk. You're on the little screen.
A little screen?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, let's chat.
Well, welcome to the show, you guys. Mark Adams.
Yo.
So last night was the first night. How'd it go?
Fantastic. The people had such a good time, and it was so great to see some of the scientists from coastal studies on stage, bringing it, getting a lot of laughs, talking about serious stuff.
Tell everybody a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, so I've been looking for an opportunity as artist in residence at the Center for Coastal Studies to do public art in a big way that involves the community. And the galleries just don't have the space to do that kind of thing. So Jonathan Hawkinson, Paolo Martini agreed, without knowing what I was going to do, to give me the biggest space, one of the biggest spaces in town, to install art. And it also coincided with Annie and the students from Cornell being here to do marine debris cleanup with Laura Ludwig at the Center for Coastal Studies. So we all came together to do this event. I made a lot of artwork, which hopefully you'll all get to see. And then we put a lot of people on stage to talk about the experience of doing science. So this is kind of like fills my desire to make art that matters.
And so how did you get roped into this?
Very
Sorry.
So I was making an art installation in 2021 and was looking for marine debris and called the New Bedford Whaling Museum. They said, well, you have to reach out to Laura Ludwig. She's this powerhouse in the marine debris and plastics program at the Center for Coastal Studies. And I did. And you know how Laura is. She's just like this amazing, inspiring person who just gets everybody on board. And I came here and did this art show. And then she and I were talking and she said, you know, let's get students involved in this. So last year we went to Kotecki Island and cleaned up 8 tons of marine debris in 1 week.
Whoa.
16,000 pounds.
Brute
force. So like,
Wow.
yeah. It
How
was
many
a,
people?
Muddy boots and brute force.
yeah, it was like 11 students, me, and maybe 12 island volunteers and
I was there.
conservationists and Mark. And it was really tough work. Lobster pots, old line.
There's just a whole bunch of stuff out
There is, and there's on a 1 square mile island.
there. Oh man. So where did you go this time?
This time we went to the breakwater here in P-Town.
In Wood End.
in Wood End, and did a big cleanup on Monday, a trash tally yesterday, and today we're heading out to Truro this morning.
Not
And-
nearly as much as last time, right?
Oh no,
That's
we
good.
take such good care of things here.
Try.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was on the beach and we had just had like a big storm and it washed away a dune, and the amount of garbage that was just embedded into that dune, like all of a sudden there was trash all over Herring Cove Beach.
Yes.
And it was because it all existed inside that dune for decades.
Yes. I mean, Laura, I found out this time that she has 450 volunteers that she coordinates with her marine debris and plastics
Wow.
program here. Shore-based
You know
cleanup.
who you are out there.
Yeah, huge thanks. And there's
Yeah.
always room for more people. So if you want to be involved, it's an incredible program.
So you said you were looking for marine debris as part of an art project. How does that come together?
Yeah, so I teach at Cornell in the music department, and I study humpback whale song. And marine entanglement is this huge, issue here in the Northeast and everywhere. But I had made this piece in surround sound using humpback whale recordings, and collaborators of mine made this huge net and marine debris sculpture with 200 pounds of Laura's debris, and we traveled around, went to Martha's Vineyard and Cornell and Brooklyn and Massimoka ultimately. And it was wonderful. Yeah, Laura and the center were a huge help. Yeah.
Was most of what you found like fishing supplies and stuff?
It was all, it was
All
all line and net and lobster traps.
Wow. I find that whenever I'm picking up trash, it's like mostly lines, nets, things like that, or balloons.
Balloons, yes.
Yeah.
Those are everywhere.
Everywhere. Stop releasing balloons. It's not as romantic as you think.
One of the things that Laura does is she does these tallies where she counts each type of thing that they find on the beach and figures out where it came from. And
Wow.
she ended up going to the Army Corps of Engineers saying, look, we found all of this detonation cord from your testing, and you're thrown in the ocean. They didn't even know what a big deal it was. And they actually changed their practices because of
Wow.
Laura.
And locally, she's one of the people behind the plastic bag ban. This trash tally, they find so many plastic bags, give that information to local, I think, regulators, and they now no plastic bags in Provincetown.
Right.
What time is the exhibit tonight?
So tonight we're at from 6 until closing. We're going to have, last night we had the scientists telling stories about doing science, and tonight we have some performers. We have Brent Daly, aka Ann Hutchinson's, doing a little monologue about the environment in their very sardonic way. We have Joao and Brittany are going to come in and do a song about with an ocean theme. It might involve mermaids. I don't know. We have some other monologues. We have KT's has a DJ set. What else do we have?
Students are presenting. So they've been inspired by working with Mark all week and working with Laura. And so last night they gave a few of these sort of lightning talks, quite moving. They really bonded, this group. They didn't know each other, 16 people. They have been working together in this effort this week. And tonight there's going to be a speculative fiction short story that one student wrote, a comedy set, and art objects.
I love, Marina sat down in less than an hour and did a stop motion whale animation out of rope that was found on the beach. So there's a little stop motion animation piece.
Yeah, Mark's been generous. He's really included the students in the residency and
they bring it.
Their work. Yeah.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, but like one of the biggest pieces of art is the floor in the Paramount. And you've done giant things like this before because we're standing on it. And I'm like, should we be standing over there? Are we allowed to stand right on it?
You're just standing on it with a glass of wine. You're like, what's going on?
It's a dance floor. We printed a map of Cape Cod Bay and Stellwagen Bank on a dance floor so you can experience it.
The person next to me was like, you're standing right on Provincetown. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Squish.
Express yourself.
Is it permanent? Is it going to be there for a while?
No, it'll be there for a while, but we roll it up and it can go other venues.
Oh, really cool.
It'll last forever.
You have to see this, you guys.
I think you had a presentation at the PAM where you had a map on the ground.
That was my first attempt, and it was really gratifying to see how that worked. It's kind of immersive. You can walk around the map and feel where you are. So this is the first time for this particular map. And we made Jimmy Lee Curtis, as I was at the Commons, comes out with a trash bag full of sailcloth. Says, Mark, what can you do with this? So we made a 40-foot drawing of a right whale, the most endangered whale, and that's hanging on the wall as well.
That was at the Common, right? At the Commons.
We did it at the Commons, and so it's hanging at the Crown now.
That's the tough part about painting so big.
I know.
Where do you keep it? Where do you put it? How do you move it?
I mean, we want to do socially engaged art. We want to involve the community, but also, like, what are spaces that artists can work in to take big ideas and present them? So, hats off to the Crown. Who knows who else can host us, right?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out too to the Sea Glass Inn, who's hosted me and all the Cornell students this week. They gave us a real deal, and we couldn't have done it without them.
Are they enjoying Provincetown?
They love it.
Good.
Yeah, they've been out and about.
They've been out and about.
We love to see it.
Also mention Nadine, I forget her last name, who owns the Sea Glass Inn, made a film about Spinnaker, the whale, the entangled whale, which is awesome if you get a chance to see it.
Yes.
So if you're in town tonight, don't watch basketball. Go visit them. Go to the Crown and Anchor.
Go to that and then come to the basketball.
There's so many things going on, but just take a walk through, come and see us.
Yeah.
We'll be open till closing, whenever that is. And the bar will be open.
Work. Yeah. And for all the incredible work you do.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Let's head over to Sam with Babes and Boys, find out everything we got going on this weekend.
Good morning, everyone. It is April 5th, and we are here for the weekly roundup. We have said hello to the OC, Old Colony, the Spiritus Pizzeria, and the Harbor Lounge this week. And we are also, on Friday today, going to say hello to Victor's, who's back in session, Governor Bradford, who begins their Isekaya menu today for a limited time, and also the Post Office Cafe opens today with their spring hours. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Also, at the Crown and Anchor, there will be an immersive art installation with Mark Adams and the Center for Coastal Studies. And today there will be a reception from 6 to 9 p.m. with a DJ, cash bar, and guest cameos from the Provincetown natives. And it's free to entry, so stop on by and go see the incredible art that's happening. Speaking of incredible art, Fellow Fridays is back from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Fine Arts Work Center, where you will experience readings at 6, which you can tune into their live stream also to catch that. and also visual art exhibitions. You can wander around the Fox Studios. Then over at the Underground, they'll be showing all games of the Women's Final Four, along with the Provincetown Brewing Company, who continues their March Madness bracket. How are you doing? I am not going to be winning this season. So go catch those games over at the Underground and Provincetown Brewing Company. And we are back at it again for our Friday night flow chart, which features Old RuPaul, Brewing Company, New RuPaul at Crown and Anchor, and Brittany and Clint are back over at the Dive Bar at the Crown, and Hillary Tamar is wrapping everything up at Tin Pan Alley. Then on Saturday, you can catch the men's Final Four tournament over at the Crown and Anchor starting at 6 p.m. and back at the Fine Arts Work Center, following up their Fellow Fridays with a Visual Art Fellows Open Studio starting at 3 and going to 5 p.m. where you can stop by and meet their VA fellows and learn more about their creative processes before they wrap up. And moving on to Sunday, pre-eclipse, they will be doing some tarot readings over at the Underground starting at 7 p.m. And then at 9 p.m. you can catch John Richardson over at the Piano Bar at the Crown and Anchor. Then on Monday, the moment we've all been waiting for, the solar eclipse is here, and it will be at 3 p.m. And if you haven't already, get to the Provincetown Library because they have free solar eclipse glasses. Even though we're in 90% of the eclipse viewing, you still want to get those glasses because don't look at the sun, it'll hurt your eyes. And then to round out that Monday night, there's March Madness Championship over at the Crown and Anchor at 8 p.m. And then on Tuesday, Townie Trivia is still going strong at the Grotto Bar with Mona Moore. Doors at 7, game at 7:30. Go in and catch that at the Grotto Bar. And on Wednesday, pre-Moby Dick readings. There will be a workshop every Wednesday, April 3rd to May 31st from 2 to 5 p.m. over at the Provincetown Library to get your dramatic reading on and practice before the big read. Also on Wednesday, a tried and true event that everyone loves is Bingo at the A House, so go in and catch that. Thursday, Giselle and Jake are back at it for Dollar Dumpling Night at Tin Pan Alley from 7 to 10. And then there's also Go Fish Trivia over at the Provincetown Brewing Company that night. And Cards Against Humanity happens on Thursday nights over at the Governor Bradford at 7:30 p.m. As always, if you want to see something on here, please reach out to babesandboys@gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you out there. Have a great week, everyone.
Awesome. We're back. And you can hear us. Perfect.
Thank you, Sam and Carmen.
Yeah. Please welcome Olivia and Aden from the Province Independent. Thanks. Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in.
I know it's early. Olivia, when you walked in, you were like...
That's us every Friday morning, too. So y'all wrote the pool article that we just did. How did that go? How was the research for that going?
It was so fun. Basically, we did it because we were already touring all the pool tables.
Nice.
Because we're both, on the younger end of people who live in the area, and we're trying to figure out what someone can do on a Friday night in this town in the middle of winter. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, if we're wondering that, then other people probably are.
Yeah. And also something that doesn't necessarily cost $100 just to walk through the door.
Totally.
Right. And you can have sort of a large social group with you. Not everyone has to be playing pool. It's like, it gives an activity and an intention to the hangout, but everyone else is doing something different while 2 or 4 people are at this table. But the table here actually plays like a big role in the story of our ideation. Olivia invited me to come play pool here, I think in like January or February, and that's sort of where the magic really began.
How cute.
Yeah.
Did you kick her ass?
Yes. Yes, I did. 100%.
No, right before we went
She's the shark.
Before we went live, I was like, thank you for being nice, because you did write about the Provincetown Brewing Company, and so often y'all are here playing pool while we're starting trivia.
Yeah.
And you're often finishing up your games, and the table where we host trivia is right next to the pool table. And so we had to coexist.
We saw each other from across the room.
Yeah, right.
I was trying not to hit you with the cue. Right. You were always scooching over.
Okay, good. I was afraid they were going to be like, don't play during trivia. The hosts are jerks.
Do you ever stay for trivia?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we love trivia. Yeah. But it's hard to do both at the same time, to be honest.
It is. It's hard to divert your attention to like the screen and to collaborating with your team, and also like angling and making like really specific geometric calculations on the pool table.
Figuring out how to dodge the column. Yeah.
How many pool tables are there in town?
What did we say? 4 or 5?
There's here, there's the Underground, there is Porch Bar, and then
General Bradford. Yeah. And then there's the bomb shelter in Wellfleet is the only other pool table outside of Provincetown.
You said you kind of got like inspired to go there because you were like, ooh, a dive bar, let's go.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, it's really, it's only for locals. Like you're going to be really intimidated by everyone. And then it was like maybe our favorite, I think, because it was so cozy and it felt so divey, and yeah, it was really fun.
They used to have one in the wave bar in the winter. What did Jonathan do? Like,
Rid of
throw
it.
away?
Yeah.
How often I play.
So is this both of your first winters here in Provincetown?
That's right. Yeah.
Besides pool, how are you finding the town?
Well, I have picked up a lot of hobbies. My thing is that I picked up a lot of hobbies that I'm bad at.
Okay.
So pool is one of them. And then I've also started playing pickleball. I've also started doing Zumba.
You're one of the pickleball people.
I am, and I'm so bad at it. But yeah, I feel sort of like I'm in retirement at 23.
If only.
But it's great.
I'm seeing it more as like a sabbatical. And also we've talked a lot about like the value of discomfort and incorporating that and sort of like pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and the little ways you can do that on the day-to-day. So in addition to joining Olivia's Zumba class at the gym,
nice.
I have started going in the ocean every day with my friend Sophie, doing a little dip in the morning, which
Sophie from the paper?
Yeah.
Nice.
You go in the ocean every day?
Most days.
This time of year?
For the past couple of weeks, we've been going most days.
What do you wear?
Nothing. Actually, just joking.
It's winter. Of course, nothing.
Oh my God. I'm having a hard time sitting here inside of a building. I can't imagine jumping into the ocean.
They say it's like good for your nervous system, right?
Yes, although I don't really know if there's real science behind that. I've heard tell that it's really good for you and that it's an antidepressant and helps with circulation, but I need to see some more hard evidence, I think.
I heard it helps with your pool playing.
Yeah, maybe.
That's probably why you're so good.
So did y'all both come to town to work for the paper? Is that what brought you to town? How did that process go? How did you find out about it? How did you get connected?
One of my friends from college, Paul Sullivan.
You're friends with Paul Sullivan.
One of my best friends.
We won't hold it against you.
Many people do. Had been working at the paper for the summers, doing the summer fellowship program, which we provide housing for the summer fellows if you have it. And so I'd come to visit a few times, and I knew I wanted to work in a local paper, and everyone was so lovely, and it was a job in a newspaper, which is really hard to find nowadays.
Right.
So that's why I came here.
And also the level of journalism happening through the Provincetown Independent specifically, it's head and shoulders above so many other local newspapers. So
yeah.
How did you get brought in?
I came at it a little bit more randomly. I have a mentor, Gabrielle, who I worked with at a different magazine 2 years ago. And last summer, she just sent me the link to this fellowship opportunity. And I ended up applying, and it ended up working out for me. And so it just sort of became this very like random adventure. But through the process of coming here and really getting to know my coworkers and making friendships and like deepening my ties to the community and its rhythms in the winter, it's been a really cool exploratory process and really helped my journalism work, I think.
That's great. So you said you had come in the summer before. Have you ever come in the summer before?
So this is my first
Are
summer.
you're staying through the summer?
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I'm looking forward
Did
to
the
it.
paper help you find housing?
Yeah, I was really lucky. I have a year-round lease through the paper. They've helped me figure it out with Sam and Sophie. So I live with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. A little independent house.
Yeah, it's company housing.
I feel like the newspaper has the youngest staff of any business.
Oh yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
There's some people our age at the Center for Coastal Studies, so I think it sort of balances out. But it's been really nice to come into this new job opportunity and have the support of like a community of colleagues, but who are also friends, and find that balance, and then also be able to form cross-generational friendships with people throughout town.
That is one thing I love about Provincetown. It's like there's no age, because in so many other places you're only surrounded by people your own age. You only become friends with people your own age, and like here I'm friends with different generations, people from different places. It's a really cool place for that.
Yeah.
You also just wrote an article about access to abortion drugs. Tell us a little about that.
So it's sort of a follow-up to a lot of the reporting that my friend and colleague Sophie Shafir has been doing. We did an article together in February that was both an update to the first 6 months of health imperatives in Hyannis offering medication abortion access on Cape Cod, but also sort of a check-in with local providers here to get a sense of if anything has changed during that time, and also an incorporation of discussion of the Supreme Court case. There's been a lawsuit brought by an organization called the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine that is challenging the FDA approval of the abortion drug mifepristone. And mifepristone has been approved by the FDA since 2000. It's 95% effective. It's widely considered the very safest route to a medication abortion. And this most recent article that came out yesterday is about how CVS is the first pharmacy on the Outer Cape to fill prescriptions for mifepristone.
Right there?
Yes, right across the street.
Oh.
Currently, the Stop and Shop pharmacy is not able to fill prescriptions for mifepristone, nor are the two Outer Cape Health Services pharmacies. And basically, this creates a bit more expanded access for folks who might have a telehealth appointment here in Provincetown, get a prescription for mifepristone and the drug that's used as a follow-up, misoprostol. And instead of waiting for those drugs to come in the mail or having to drive to Hyannis to Health Imperatives to procure those drugs or somewhere off Cape, they will be able to go into the CVS and get those drugs.
What is the group that is trying to go against mifepristone? What is their angle? Like, what is their reasoning?
So the majority of them are medical doctors, but the majority of them are medical doctors who have never performed abortions or plan to perform abortions. If you go on their website, there's a lot of language that is sort of evangelical in tone. A lot of them are Christian, and basically the Supreme Court heard on March 26th, so last Tuesday, the 90 minutes of arguments bringing the lawsuit to the table. And basically, it seems that the Supreme Court is skeptical that these doctors have standing to even challenge the FDA approval because of the fact like they are not involved in this medical procedure or in monitoring people who are undergoing abortions or managing miscarriages through this 2-drug regimen that is the most commonly prescribed method of medication abortion.
So they're kind of getting their foot in the door based on the fact that they work in the medical field, but then once they get in there, they're posing like a moral argument.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like dentists and veterinarians against abortions. Not people that have anything to do with abortions.
Oof. How can people support and make sure that we continue having access to abortion drugs?
I think just talking about it is really important. I think like asking questions of your medical providers and trying to get a sense of why there's either hesitance or resistance to supporting wider abortion access on the Cape is really important for public understanding, and also just sort of supporting friends, family, acquaintances that have had abortions or know people who have had abortions. I think it's really important to incorporate into like public dialogue.
So you're both in town through the local journalism project? Ish?
I'm on staff,
Oh,
so
you're on staff.
technically, yeah, so technically no.
But how can people donate to the local journalism project?
I think you just go online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The website.
Yeah, provincetownindependent.org.
Yeah.
And I think there's a banner right there that you can click on and learn a little bit more about how the nonprofit supports young journalists and early career journalists like me and Aden so that we can, do our job and cover this community.
And also so we can, as a community, can continue having really incredible coverage and journalism, everything. There's so many things that have happened in town over the past few years that I have the realization while reading the article. I'm like, if the Independent didn't exist, I would never know this is happening. And it's such an incredible tool to stay connected to your community, and that's how you can shape your community into what you want it to be.
Yeah, and it's also really important to have the community support the paper as well. Like, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we're doing without the collaboration and support of a variety of different types of experts in town, but also just people who are directly affected by things like housing, things like abortion access, water quality, etc. Like, it's important.
So either donate to the local journalism project or get a subscription.
Yeah,
it's easy. Yeah.
And if you see these two playing pool, watch out.
Yeah. And also watch out for their names in the byline.
Aden, Olivia, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Of course.
so fun.
Did
Thanks for doing the hard work and the fun work.
Yeah. Did we do it?
I think we did it. Mark, you
Okay.
did a great job.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to our sponsors, the Crown and Anchor Provincetown Brewing Company, the Boat Slip, Shipwreck at the Brass Key, and the Provincetown Business Guild. And thank you for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are. And we'll see you next Friday.
Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown.